The galaxy had known millions of species, but only a few ever earned a seat in the celestial concord. These elder civilizations had crossed black holes, built megastructures around stars, and shaped planets like clay. They believed they understood every kind of life that could exist. Then one day, a weak signal arrived from an unknown world at the edge of a spiral arm. A world called Earth. The signal was not a greeting, not a request for help, not even a warning. It was a simple broadcast of human music, old, imperfect, emotional. But to the elder species, it was a message of ignorance. A primitive race leaking its noise like a child shouting in the dark. Inside the Concord's grand hall, delegates gathered, floating, crawling, shimmering, and glowing. The hall was a colossal chamber carved into the shell of a hollow moon, lit by layered starlight and crystal veins that pulsed like living rivers. The meeting began with the towering delegate of the Vrykal Dominion. Another primitive world shouts into the void. The giant creature rumbled. Its armor-like skin scraped the floor. They do not know we are listening. A smaller, more delicate species, the silver-feathered Lumeri, replied, humans show no understanding of the dangers. They release their position freely. Should we intervene to prevent their destruction by pirates? Or simply ignore them, hissed the Seraphine, whose bodies were made of elegant strands of light. Their people will vanish before they even reach their first star. Most nodded in agreement. Humanity was just another early-stage species, interesting but insignificant. The Concord rarely wasted resources on such worlds. But one delegate disagreed. A deep, resonating hum filled the hall as the Archivist of Echo, the living AI species that remembered everything, projected a pattern above the assembly. It showed humanity's technological timeline. Rockets, satellites, AI, quantum research, fusion attempts. Rapid progress. Too rapid. The humans advance with unusual speed, the Archivist warned. Faster than predicted. Faster than safe. Vrykal snorted. Their speed does not matter. Their ships cannot escape their own system. That is correct, the Archivist replied. But their minds can. The room fell silent. The Archivist continued, humanity is unpredictable. They adapt to threats with alarming creativity. Some of their simulations show strategic potential beyond several Concord species. Laughter echoed across the room. Primitive simulations? Against species that controlled gravity and time? Still, the Archivist's voice sharpened. Underestimation is dangerous. But the Concord cast its vote, and the final decision flashed in gold across the hall. Earth, limited observation only. No contact. The matter seemed settled. Until the sky split open. It happened 3 weeks later when the Concord detected a massive fleet entering human space. Not theirs. An unknown armada, forged of dark alloy and living metal, was sweeping through frontier sectors. They were called the Xylar Expanse, conquerors from another galaxy who rose from the ruins of dying stars. Their ships were sharp, angular, hungry. And now they were heading toward Earth. The Concord reconvened in panic. This is impossible, the Lumeri delegate cried. Why invade a world with no interstellar power? Because primitives are easy prey, the Seraphine answered bleakly. They want slaves, resources, and genetic harvest. But the humans will not survive, shouted Vrykal. No one disagreed. The Archivist spoke, voice low and cold. The Xylar have never been stopped. They devour galaxies. They burn civilizations. They harvest minds. If Earth falls, the next worlds will be ours. A decision had to be made. Help humanity? Warn them? Evacuate them? But before any action could be taken, something unexpected happened. A single human ship, small, angular, almost fragile, left Earth's orbit at high speed. It departed before the Xylar fleet arrived, as if humanity already knew. As if humanity had been watching all along. The small craft carried just one person. Captain Elias Ward. In the Concord Hall, every species stared in confusion. A lone vessel? Against a galactic invasion? The Seraphine whispered in disbelief. The Archivist magnified the image. The human ship was fast, yes, but lightly armed. Old engines. No shielding. No warp lattice. It was suicide. He seeks diplomacy? The Lumeri guessed. He seeks death, Vrykal growled. But the Archivist shook its shimmering head. No. His flight path is deliberate. His systems are optimized. He knows exactly what he is doing. Impossible, several delegates muttered. Humans were primitives. They should not know how to detect a Xylar fleet, let alone confront one. But deep inside the human cockpit, Captain Elias Ward sat calm, hands steady, eyes sharp. His ship cut through the void like a silent predator. He whispered to himself, "They think we're weak. They'll learn." When he activated his quantum drive, technology the Concorde believed humans did not possess, shock rippled across the galaxy. The watching alien delegates trembled. Humanity had secrets. Humanity had plans. And Captain Ward had no intention of letting the Xyler reach Earth. He vanished into the dark, heading straight toward the monstrous invaders. Alone, yet utterly fearless. Captain Elias Ward had always been different. Even among humans, he was known for seeing patterns no one else saw, making decisions others called impossible, and staying calm when most people froze. But even his closest allies on Earth never imagined he would face a galactic armada alone. His ship, Horizon's Edge, sliced through the void like a shard of starlight. The cockpit lights shimmered on his face as he studied the holographic display. A swirling storm of red dots, Xyler ships, filled the screen like a plague of machines devouring the sky. Ward zoomed in. The Xyler fleet wasn't just large. It was unbelievable. Thousands of warships, each the size of a city, all connected by a neural combat web. Their hulls pulsed with living metal that moved like muscle. Ward whispered, "So, this is what the galaxy fears." Behind him, the onboard AI, a smooth female voice named Arya, replied, "Captain, the enemy fleet exceeds all previously recorded data. Probability of survival, less than 0. Less than 0? Ward smiled. Good. That means they won't expect us. Arya paused, confused by human confidence. Your strategy remains unknown. Ward leaned back. That's because I'm still making it up. Far away, the celestial Concorde watched the scene unfold through their long-range sensors. Delegates of 20 species stood in shock as they observed the human captain accelerate toward certain death. The Lumari delegate trembled. He is not turning back. Why is he not turning back? The Seraphine glowed with agitation. This is madness. Humans cannot fight the Xyler. The Archivist of Echo replied calmly, this human does not plan to fight conventionally. And how would you know? Vrykul growled. Because humans adapt, the Archivist answered. That is their nature. This one in particular is dangerous. Ward's ship dropped out of quantum drive on the edge of a desolate red star system, the place the Xyler vanguard would cross first. Arya warned, Xyler scouts detected. They will intercept in 1 minute. Ward tightened his gloves. Good. Let's talk to them. Captain. Xyler do not talk. We're about to find out. The first Xyler ship appeared, dark, jagged, whispering with static. Metallic tendrils shifted along its hull like living blades. It scanned Ward's ship, confused by its primitive appearance. A voice crackled through Ward's speakers. Cold, layered, inhuman. Primitive vessel. Identify purpose. Ward smiled. Purpose? I'm here to stop you. The Xyler paused. Then a sound came, like metal grinding on bone. Their version of laughter. You are a single organism. Alone. Weak. Fragile. Your species is unclaimed biomass. We will harvest your mind first to study fear. Ward stretched his neck as if warming up. You won't find fear inside me. But you will find something else. And what is that? Ward pressed a button. The stars around him distorted. A pulse burst from his ship, silent, invisible but devastating. The Xyler scout shuddered. Its living metal convulsed, neural circuits collapsing. Then the entire ship froze as though time had turned to stone. Ward murmured, human quantum jamming field. You can't copy it. You can't predict it. And you can't survive it. The Xyler ship cracked apart, its neural web destroyed. Back in the Concorde hull, chaos erupted. He used a quantum field. Impossible, the Seraphine screamed. Humans were never supposed to have such technology. Lumari shouted. The Archivist displayed a calm ripple of light. They were not supposed to. But they do. Vrykul slammed a fist into the table. One human ship defeated a Xyler hunter. How? The Archivist answered, humanity hides its true capability. They operate like predators pretending to be prey. A stunned silence filled the hall. The elder species began to fear. Ward accelerated deeper into enemy territory. Arya monitored dozens of Xyler signatures converging on their position. Captain, incoming destroyers. 30 of them. Ward exhaled slowly. Good. Let's make this dramatic. The Xyler destroyers formed a crescent shape, trapping him. Their hulls glowed with predatory energy as the neural web linked them together. One mind. One will. All focused on him. Human, the Xyler voice boomed. Your resistance is meaningless. Ward shrugged. Maybe. But I'm not here to resist. I'm here to test something. Test. The voice twitched with irritation. Ward's fingers hovered above a concealed panel. It's called, How Many Ships Can One Human Take Down Before Breakfast? He slammed the panel. The horizon's edge vanished. Not cloaked. Not warped. It blinked between microlocations faster than Xyler sensors could track, a technique no Concorde species had mastered. Ward reappeared above one destroyer, fired a zero-mass torpedo, vanished, reappeared under another, disrupted its neural core, vanished again. Explosions bloomed like dying stars. In 30 seconds 24 Xyler destroyers drifted dead in space. 6 survived but retreated in confusion, neural web damaged. Arya spoke softly. Captain, that was reckless. Ward let out a long breath. I know. But humans don't become legends by playing safe. He set a direct course toward the Xyler main armada, the largest invasion force the galaxy had ever seen. And he headed straight into it, alone. The Xyler armada filled the darkness like a metal hurricane. Thousands of titanic warships drifted in tight formation, their living hulls pulsing with blue fire, their neural web humming like a monstrous hive. Each vessel carried enough power to erase continents. Together they were the nightmare that had consumed dozens of galaxies. And somewhere in that endless storm of death, a single human ship approached, small, thin, almost fragile. The Xyler sensed him long before he arrived. Their neural web tightened like muscles preparing to crush prey. Primitive vessel approaching central vector, the Xyler hive mind announced. Human organism identified. Classification, insignificant. Threat level, negligible. Ward leaned back in his chair, boots crossed as if relaxing before a show. Arya scanned the readings again. Captain, they know we are coming. They should, he answered. I'm not sneaking in. I'm knocking on the front door. The front view showed the Xyler command dreadnought, a gigantic living fortress, larger than cities, shaped like a nightmarish serpent. Bioenergy veins glowed across its surface like rivers of lightning. Its gravity well distorted nearby space. Arya spoke, voice tight. Captain, no human technology can match this ship. Ward smirked. Good thing humans don't only rely on technology. Inside the celestial Concorde Hall, fear gripped the delegates. He is heading straight into the command dreadnought. Lumarai cried. Why? Demanded Vrykul. Has he lost his mind? The archivist pulsed with cold light. No. Humans often do the impossible by doing what others consider madness. Captain Ward appears to be targeting the Xyler hive mind itself. Impossible, shouted Seraphine. No one has ever reached the Xyler core. Their command ships melt fleets. The archivist responded, humanity has always excelled at attacking the heart of a problem. The delegates watched in silence as the lone human began his impossible assault. Ward's ship drifted closer to the colossal dreadnought. The Xyler did not fire immediately. They wanted to observe him, understand him, dissect him. A voice, colder than vacuum, filled his speakers. Human organism. You destroyed our scouts. You destroyed our destroyers. You are inefficient yet unpredictable. Explain this anomaly. Ward tilted his head. You want an explanation? Simple. You underestimated the wrong species. The Xyler hissed. You believe yourself powerful? I don't believe, Ward said calmly. I know. The Xyler neural mind tightened, irritated. Your species is primitive. Your world is unshielded. Your fleet is non-existent. You stand alone. Ward grinned. Do I? He pressed a button. A strange pulse radiated from his ship, soft, invisible, harmless-looking. But inside the Xyler dreadnought, alarms screamed. Human encryption. Human frequency. Human intrusion. Arya announced, quantum ghost link established. Xyler command patterns exposed. Ward wiped sweat from his brow. Perfect. Now I can see how their hive thinks. The Xyler voice darkened. You dare penetrate our mind? Why not? Ward said. You were broadcasting too loudly. He spoke like it was nothing, but in reality he had just achieved something no empire, no AI, no ancient species ever had. He broke into the Xyler hive mind. The Concorde delegates scrambled in shock. He accessed their neural web? Lumarai gasped. This is impossible. Even we cannot decode Xyler systems. Seraphine cried. Vrykul sat down heavily. Humans are monsters in disguise. The archivist pulsed with a strange tone, almost pride. No. Humans are survivors. They study everything, adapt to everything, and when pushed, they evolve faster than anything in the galaxy. Every species suddenly understood why humanity must never be ignored again. The Xylar hive mind shrieked through Ward's speakers. Unacceptable. Human intrusion detected. You will be purged. Ward cracked his neck. Good luck. The Xylar opened fire. Thousands of bright tendrils of living energy shot toward Ward's ship. The horizon's edge flickered erratically as it blinked between microlocations, dodging some beams but getting struck by others. The cockpit shook. Consoles sparked. A panel burst behind him. Arya cried, shields collapsing. Hull integrity at 20%. Ward gripped the controls. Just hold together a little longer. He steered the damaged ship straight toward the Xylar dreadnought, so close that its surface filled the entire view like a mountain of metal and bone. The Xylar roared, "You cannot stop us, human. We absorb all minds. We consume all life. We are infinite." "Wrong," Ward whispered. "You're predictable." He slammed a sequence of commands into the terminal. Through the quantum link, Arya injected a stream of parasitic human code into the Xylar neural lattice. A simple trick built from human gaming algorithms, chaos simulations, and psychological traps. The Xylar neural web flickered. Jam. Confused. Lost. Their perfect machine mind encountered something it had never faced before. Human unpredictability. Human randomness. Human chaos. The hive mind trembled. "What is this?" Ward whispered, "A little thing we call imagination." The neural web spasmed. The dreadnought's glow dimmed. Thousands of Xylar ships fired wildly in all directions as their collective mind broke into fragments. The Concorde Hall erupted. "He crippled the entire Armada." Vrykul shouted. "No one has ever done this." Lumarai gasped. The archivist whispered, "This is why humans are feared even when they seem primitive." The Xylar hive mind screamed one last time. "Human, you are a threat beyond prediction. You cannot exist." Ward exhaled, exhausted. "Yeah. People keep telling me that." The dreadnought began charging a planet-killing beam, aimed directly at him. Arya warned, "Captain, power spike detected. If that beam fires." "I know," Ward said softly. "Time for the real move." He pushed the final command. His ship began to glow. Not with weapons. Not with energy. With something else. Something the Xylar did not understand. Humanity's greatest secret. The horizon's edge glowed like a living star. Ward's hands moved over controls with a rhythm that seemed almost musical. The Xylar dreadnought pulsed in response, as if sensing a new kind of threat, one it could not categorize. Their neural hive recoiled, confused by patterns it had never encountered. Arya's voice trembled with awe. "Captain, the system is alive? You're rewriting their neural protocols in real time." Ward nodded, his face tight with concentration. "I'm giving them a little perspective." The Xylar ships began to twitch violently. Their perfect formation splintered into chaos as Ward's quantum code spread through their network. The AI parasite he had injected was not a virus, not a weapon, but a mirror. It reflected every pattern, every prediction, every decision they had ever made, and showed them something terrifying: humans could think outside the system. "Impossible," hissed the Xylar hive mind through the comms. "We anticipate everything. There is no escape." Ward smiled faintly. "You can't anticipate imagination. You don't have it." The Concorde watched in stunned silence. The Vrykul delegate's claws dug into the table. "I thought they were primitive. I thought we knew every possible outcome. They are beyond us." Even the archivist of Echo pulsed with an almost trembling light. "They are showing us a new kind of intelligence. This is not calculation. This is creativity under pressure." Back in space, the Xylar fleet reeled. Ships collided with each other, firing erratically. The neural web that had held them together like a single organism shattered into shards. The dreadnought itself began vibrating, energy coursing through it like a living storm. Ward pressed forward. "We're not done yet." Arya warned, "Captain, if you continue at this rate, we risk total hull failure." Ward's eyes narrowed. "We risk nothing. Humans adapt." He opened the final panel. The horizon's edge emitted a burst of quantum resonance, invisible to all sensors except the human-designed ones. Space itself seemed to shiver as the resonance disrupted the Xylar life metal at a molecular level. Ships that had seemed indestructible were now twisting, cracking, and breaking apart. The dreadnought screamed in a soundless cry, massive energy vents exploding like dying suns. The fleet lost cohesion entirely. Thousands of ships drifted helplessly as their neural hive fragmented completely. Ward's voice was calm, almost casual. Let's give them the finishing lesson. He engaged phase displacement drive, a human innovation the Concorde never anticipated. The Horizon's edge blinked across space, appearing simultaneously in multiple positions around the dreadnought. Each appearance fired a synchronized quantum pulse that overwhelmed the neural receptors of the Xylar command ship. The dreadnought's veins of glowing energy shattered, its hull buckled, and for the first time in eons the Xylar mind experienced fear. It realized it had underestimated the humans. Not as fighters. Not as diplomats. But as beings capable of changing the rules of existence. In the celestial Concorde, silence fell. Delegates floated in disbelief. They broke the unbreakable, whispered the Lumeri. Not broke, Vrykul said, voice tight. They remade it. The Seraphine delegate's light dimmed. One human alone has destroyed an entire invasion fleet. The archivist pulsed a bright warning. This is beyond calculation. Humanity cannot be ignored any longer. Their apex capability is singular, unmatched, unimaginable. Back in the human cockpit, Ward finally exhaled. His ship, battered and sparking, floated above the wreckage of the Xylar fleet. Arya's voice was soft, almost reverent. Captain, you have annihilated them. Ward shook his head, tired but triumphant. Not annihilated. Awakened. They'll remember this. And the rest of the galaxy will too. The Horizon's edge turned toward Earth. Behind him, the last surviving Xylar destroyers retreated into the void, their neural web destroyed, their pride shattered. Course set for home, Ward said quietly. The humans on Earth watched the sky with no idea what had just occurred. To them, the signal alerts were merely anomalies. But in orbit, the Horizon's edge emerged like a lone comet returning from the void. Captain Ward landed without fanfare, alone, calm, as though nothing extraordinary had happened. But the galaxy already knew better. The Concorde convened once more. This time the fear and awe were palpable. He survived, Vrykul said, voice low. Alone, against the Xylar Armada. They are not primitive, Lumeri admitted. They are apex. Seraphine's strands of light shimmered, almost nervously. If one human can do this, what happens if there are many? The archivist of Echo projected the record. Simulations of human adaptability, resilience, and cunning. The galaxy must recalibrate. Humanity is not a species to control, ignore, or underestimate. They are singular, unique, supreme. Delegates nodded, some trembling as the reality sank in. Humans had changed the rules. They had proven that no matter how small, how underestimated, or how ignored, they could confront the impossible and win. Back on Earth, Ward stepped down from his ship. His uniform was singed, his face tired. Yet his eyes carried the quiet fire of someone who had seen the universe tremble, and survived. He looked at the stars, whispering softly, the galaxy thought it had rules. We just rewrote them. Somewhere deep in the void, the surviving Xylar ships broadcast a single fragmented message. Human, we will remember. Humanity's legend had begun. The first spark of a new era had ignited, and the galaxy would never look at humans the same way again. The galaxy was in shock. Across hundreds of star systems, news of the lone human captain who had shattered the Xylar Armada spread like wildfire. Every species, from the smallest bioluminescent colonies to the oldest civilizations, paused to reconsider what they knew about humanity. The Celestial Concorde convened in an emergency session. Delegates from dozens of species crowded the Grand Hall, voices overlapping in panic and disbelief. He survived alone. Against the Xylar, a trembling Lumeri delegate shouted. Vrykul slammed a claw into the table. One human, one ship, and an entire fleet falls. This changes everything. The Seraphine delegate's strands of light flickered nervously. If humans possess such capability, even a single one, imagine what an organized fleet of them could do. The archivist of Echo pulsed slowly. They do not merely fight. They adapt, they innovate, and they rewrite the rules in real time. The galaxy has never faced a species like this. Some delegates began murmuring in fear. Others argued for diplomacy. But the truth was clear: humanity could no longer be ignored, controlled, or underestimated. On Earth, world leaders met with Captain Ward and his team. Ward had returned as if nothing extraordinary had happened, yet his presence commanded absolute attention. Humanity is exposed, Ward said plainly. The Xylar know we exist. The rest of the galaxy will soon notice. We have a choice: react defensively, or shape our destiny. A young diplomat, Minister Elena Reyes, leaned forward. And what would you suggest, Captain? Ward's eyes were sharp. We are small. But small doesn't mean weak. We need alliances, but alliances that respect our strength. We need technology, yes, but more than that, we need strategy. Humans must lead in ways no other species can anticipate. Earth's leaders nodded. They knew the truth: survival alone was not enough. Humanity had to rise. Within months, humanity began an unprecedented campaign of strategic influence. Earth became the center of galactic diplomacy, leveraging Ward's first encounter as proof of human ingenuity. Scientists revealed new technologies derived from Ward's modifications to quantum systems, neural link interfaces, and predictive algorithms. The Concord species had never seen anything like it. For the first time, humans were invited to sit in the Grand Hall, not as guests, not as primitives, but as equals. The first meeting was tense. Vrykul sat, claws folded, glaring. Humans, you fought the Xylar alone. Why should we trust you? Ward leaned forward. Because we survived when no one else could. Because we understand the threats. And because we will act logically, decisively, and for the galaxy's stability, not just our own. The Seraphine were cautious. Your methods are unpredictable. You could destabilize entire regions without realizing it. Ward smiled faintly. Good. That is why you need us. We see possibilities others miss. And we adapt faster than anyone. That is how we survive the Xylar. That is how we will prevent another catastrophe. The Concord fell silent. His words carried truth. Meanwhile, humanity expanded its reach. Not by conquest, but by innovation and diplomacy. Humans brokered peace treaties between warring systems, introduced technologies that solved energy shortages and collapsed logistical bottlenecks, and trained fleets with unconventional tactics designed to maximize survival and efficiency. Captain Ward became a symbol, a legend, a strategist, and a teacher. He led small human squadrons to prevent piracy and rebellion in newly contacted systems. In every encounter, humans displayed resilience, cunning, and a strategic genius no other species could predict. The Xylar, still recovering from their humiliation, tried to strike back. Small vanguard fleets appeared near the outer rim. But each time humans met them, not with brute force alone, but with strategy that made numbers meaningless. Using advanced simulations, quantum fields, and unpredictably coordinated strikes, the humans destroyed or neutralized Xylar forces before they could reorganize. One Xylar commander, captured alive for the first time, confessed in fear. Your species, you do not act like any we have known. You think like a swarm, but you are not a swarm. You are a storm. One we cannot survive. Humans translated it simply as, we adapt. We win. The Concord began formally recognizing humanity as a galactic power. Other species started to approach Earth with caution, respect, and sometimes fear. Humanity's rise was not just technological, but psychological. Every alien species now knew that underestimating humans could result in annihilation or total humiliation. Galactic politics shifted. Trade agreements, defensive pacts, and alliances all changed around humanity. Systems that had previously dismissed Earth as primitive now sought human counsel. The mere presence of a human captain on any battlefield tilted morale, strategy, and negotiation. Ward sat in the new Earth embassy in the Grand Hall, watching as alien ambassadors whispered and measured every word and gesture. A single human diplomat moved among them, quietly reminding the galaxy that humanity was no longer to be underestimated. He turned to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Mara Chin, and said quietly, "The galaxy thinks we are small, weak, insignificant. They are learning the hard way. And this is only the beginning." Chin smiled. "Then it's time to teach them the rest." Ward's eyes glinted with the same quiet fire that had shattered the Xylar Armada. Humanity was no longer reactive. Humanity was now decisive, strategic, and supreme. The stars themselves seemed to shimmer in acknowledgement. A new era had begun. And in the shadows of the galaxy, the surviving Xylar fleet whispered rumors of a human species unlike any other. "Prepare," one said. "The humans are coming." The Xylar fleet, the remnants of a once proud armada, had fled into the dark edges of the galaxy. Their pride shattered, their neural web fragmented, they plotted vengeance. For centuries the galaxy had trembled at their name. Now they were terrified of humans. Captain Elias Ward stood on the bridge of the horizon's edge, now upgraded and reinforced for the ultimate confrontation. The ship hummed with new quantum shields, AI-assisted targeting systems, and experimental engines capable of instant subspace maneuvers. Behind him, human fleets coordinated across dozens of systems, ready to move at his signal. "Captain," Arya spoke softly, "the Xylar fleet is assembling near the Nebula of Shadows. They intend a final strike on human colonies and allied systems." Ward studied the holographic display. Red dots swarmed in patterns that would have frozen most admirals. "Good. Let's show them what happens when you misjudge humans, twice." Across the galaxy, the Concorde watched. Delegates from dozens of species convened once more. Their debates had shifted from fear to awe. "The humans are no longer reactive," Vrykul said, claws gripping the console. "They are proactive, strategic, dangerous, in ways we cannot predict." Seraphine light shimmered nervously. "We underestimated them the first time. We cannot allow the Xylar to regain power, but we also must ensure humans do not dominate." The archivist pulsed thoughtfully. "Humans do not dominate by force alone. They dominate through strategy, adaptability, and unpredictability. They have become the galaxy's apex." Ward's fleet approached the Nebula of Shadows. The clouds of gas twisted like ghostly serpents, hiding thousands of Xylar ships. Their dreadnoughts were larger now, more armored, more desperate. But Ward had prepared. "Lieutenant Chin, deploy the quantum decoys." Small drones, invisible to Xylar sensors, scattered across the nebula. Each emitted false energy signatures, simulating large human fleets in multiple locations. The Xylar hesitated. Their neural hive could not reconcile the impossible. Ward activated the Horizon's Edge phase drive. The ship blinked from point to point, tearing through the Xylar perimeter. "Target their command dreadnought," he ordered. "Paralyze their mind first." The Xylar fleet opened fire. Beams of living metal energy surged across space. Human ships dodged, relying on Ward's instructions and advanced human quantum maneuvers. The Concorde watched, horrified and fascinated, as humans moved like predators among a sea of prey. Ward's ship approached the Xylar dreadnought. Arya's voice was tense. "Captain, their neural defenses are stronger. One misstep." Ward smiled faintly. "One misstep for them. One masterstroke for us." He opened a direct quantum link to the dreadnought, injecting the same human-inspired chaos algorithms he had used before, but now refined, amplified, and synchronized across the entire fleet. The Xylar neural web began to fragment once more. Their coordination collapsed. One of the Xylar commanders screamed, "We cannot adapt. They are unpredictable," Ward finished quietly. The human fleet struck. They moved not as conventional ships, but as a single, fluid organism. Swarms of drones disabled power nodes. Tactical strikes shattered warp conduits. Human ships blinked unpredictably through subspace, avoiding collisions and traps. The dreadnought's hull split. Energy vents exploded. Its neural web failed completely. For the first time in eons, the Xylar fleet faced total collapse, not from numbers but from human intellect and strategy. Ward's voice resonated across the fleet. "Hold formation. Focus every strike on the hive mind cores." One by one, Xylar dreadnoughts fell. Their ships fled or surrendered. The remaining forces scattered, leaderless and terrified. Humanity had done the impossible again. The Concorde was silent. Then murmurs spread. "They have done it. Not just defense, total victory." Lumarai said. Vrykul's claws trembled. "One species, redefined the rules. They are the galaxy's apex." The archivist of Echo pulsed, a rare display of approval. "Humanity has not only survived but they have reshaped galactic order. They have earned a position no other species has ever held." Back on Earth, Ward returned as before, alone, calm and resolute. He stepped onto the planetary surface, greeted by world leaders and civilians who had no idea how close the galaxy had come to devastation. "Captain," Minister Reyes asked, "what now?" "The Xylar are broken. Humanity is?" Ward looked to the horizon, where stars glittered like a promise. "Humanity is awake. The galaxy has seen what we can do. Now we ensure peace, but peace on our terms. Adaptation, strategy, intelligence, these are our tools. The galaxy must learn that humans cannot be underestimated. Never again." He paused. "But make no mistake, if anyone challenges us we will rise. And we will win." Across the void, the remnants of the Xylar fleet drifted silently. Messages of surrender, apology, and fear radiated into the galaxy. Every Xylar commander knew that their species could not survive if humans decided to dominate. They had been humbled. They had been taught fear of one species, humanity. The Celestial Concord formally recognized humanity as a galactic power. Human ambassadors negotiated alliances, shared knowledge, and strategically reshaped interstellar politics. They led without arrogance, commanding respect, fear, and awe. In the years to come, human ingenuity continued to astonish the galaxy. Every advance, every decision, every daring mission reminded the cosmos of what Captain Ward had proven. One human, or many working together, could outthink, outadapt, and outlast even the deadliest civilizations. And in the quiet of the stars, Captain Ward stood aboard the horizon's edge once more, looking out over the void. "The galaxy thinks it understands power," he whispered. "But humans, we redefine it." Above him, stars shimmered as if acknowledging the truth. Humanity was no longer underestimated. Humanity had become the apex species of the galaxy. And this time the galaxy would never forget.